Hey there, everyone. Welcome to From Stuck to Scaling, your $1 million journey. I'm Sharon Fuller, and today we're tackling a question that doesn't get nearly enough attention. What the hell happens after you've scaled? And we've spent years grinding, hustling, and chasing the big milestones. When we finally hit them, it's like, now what? No one prepares you for the fact that success doesn't come with a roadmap and for what's next. And for a lot of founders, that could be a whole kind of identity crisis. So that's why I brought in Dr. Jackie Meyer, CPA. And let me tell you, she is a force in the accounting industry and beyond. She's not just running a successful firm, she's revolutionizing the game. And as a founder of Tax Plan IQ, she's built a SaaS platform that streamlines tax and advisory services, which help accountants actually add value instead of just crunching numbers. She's also a business coach, a consultant, a speaker, the host of the Concierge CPA podcast. And did I mention she has a freaking PhD in leadership? So she knows what she's talking about. So we're going to break down why success can sometimes feel like a letdown, how to find purpose after hitting your goals, and why reinvention isn't just an option, it's a next step. So, and as always, if you have got any questions, send them my way. And if I don't cover them today, I'll make sure I get you the answers. So let's get into it. Welcome, Jackie. You're introducing you is a mouthful, which is amazing.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Thank you, Sharon. I really appreciate it. And gosh, I am so guilty of all the things we're going to talk about today, just like anyone else. So, uh, this is a perfect fit for a discussion.
Absolutely. So anybody that doesn't know you, I mean, I'm sure they see you everywhere. You have amazing social media and branding, and you've got a huge Facebook group, the Accounting Firm Influencer Group, which is just awesome, and it's free, which is crazy to me. You should charge, but that's okay. You don't have to.
I
But
know,
it's
right? Especially with the political crap that came up last weekend in it, but
I
I'm not getting
know.
started with that one.
So many times I'm like, Jackie, do you want some help? I admin a lot of groups, but yeah, I
Yes,
watch it because
I
you have
do. I need a lot of help.
like 7,000 people in there, and some of them just get crazy and mean. And I'm like, okay, guys, she's doing this for free to kind of help you, like to have a community. Maybe let's not beat up on fellow colleagues, but whatever, that's just human.
I
But
appreciate that. Yeah.
you've got that, which is a lot of people know you from that. And then you've got, of course, your podcast. But tell us, I really kind of want to hear like a real high level of your story of how
Yeah.
you are to right here.
Yeah. So I was fired from the last CPA firm I worked at before starting my own company. So it kind of forced me into it. And I would just push too many buttons. I realized after the fact that I was a natural entrepreneur and didn't work well for others, right? But I didn't know at the time because I didn't come from an entrepreneurial family. So I started my own CPA firm in 2010, was always very forward thinking, but still offering pretty traditional services. And the firm grew really quickly and did well, completely remote, had a few contractors, that kind of thing. But I had kiddos in 2013 and 2016, both in December, specifically planned to not be in the middle of tax busy season. So weird, right?
That's such a CPA move.
I know, it's so crazy, but like so just normal for us. And I hit some severe burnout. So I was a control freak. I wasn't delegating enough. I was trying to do it all myself. I had serious consequences with my health, with chronic fatigue, postpartum, lost what I feel like is half my brain power that I still don't have today. And people joke like, I can't imagine you with your full brain power, but I mean, I was a lot sharper.
You've seen the Avengers, right?
Yeah. So, I found a coach, Chuck Bauer, thankfully. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Something needs to change with my practice. And so I was able to transform my firm by leading with tax advisory. I created my own pricing method called the ROI method of value pricing. And it like quadrupled my firm revenue, equally decreased my time. I got down eventually to a 4 hour work week like Tim Ferriss. And so yeah, everything was like going really, really well. And then being the workaholic and entrepreneur I am, I decided to start coaching other accountants with Chuck. So we formed the Certified Concierge Accountant Masterminds. I was able to coach over 200 accountants to grow their firms. That program got retired actually. I decided to retire it when Chuck retired last year. And I created Tax One IQ in the midst of COVID. Now, here's the crazy thing. I'm going to be real transparent with your viewers here. A SaaS company is valued like 8, 10 plus more times ARR than any accounting firm could be, right? And so 2 years into my SaaS experience, I was still running my CPA firm, and my SaaS company was worth way more than the CPA firm of 12 years. So I realized like my motives and passions and purpose had felt like it had really changed more towards helping accountants anyways versus directly with taxpayers. But I just happened to have a coaching student of mine that was interested in acquiring my practice. And so I sold back in 2022 for 1.5 ARR, which was pretty good. That was right before the PE boom.
Yeah.
Um, and then I kind of like doubled down on Tax One IQ, and we're continuing to grow that. And now we've got a, 8-figure valuation. It's insane. Like I can't even believe it. But my one piece of advice I would say to people from the get-go is you'll never know what your biases are against yourself without outside guidance. And you don't know that ceiling, that glass ceiling that you're putting on yourself until someone else can show that to you because you don't have that experience. So you need mentors, you need coaches, you need people like you to say, wow, here's how your company can really be valued. Here's where it can really go. Please don't limit yourself because of limiting beliefs.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that. And another thing I feel like happens a lot is when we reach that level of success, right? It feels it can feel like anticlimactic, right? So
Yeah.
we're like, oh, I'm doing so great. And this kind of falls into a few episodes I've done, like about finding your why, building your legacy. And you finally do all these things. You know why you're doing it. You know what you want to be there. But then, like you just said, if you're a serial entrepreneur, I feel like we keep raising the bar. Like, here's
Yeah.
this bar we start out, and we're like, I'm bored. Sold my company. Same thing, right? I sold my company. I could have freaking retired. I didn't. I have like 5 more. Because I'm like, keep it going. So, what do you think? I mean, why do you think so many entrepreneurs struggle with this? Why do you think they struggle with that? I found success and it's just good enough.
I think, well, to speak for me, which I know a lot of other people are like this too, that A-type driven, perfectionist, kind of workaholic personality, it's just kind of ingrained in us. And so, to take it back to like childhood, which most of these things come from, I was kind of pre-programmed to always think there's a problem in life. My mom was extremely anxious driven. And so it was like, what's the next problem? What's the next problem? And so I see that in myself as an adult. Like, oh, I just had this great success, but what's the next problem I need to solve? Or I'm not helping people enough still, right? So that's something that everyone I think needs some counseling with. I'd recommend counseling for
Yes,
everyone.
I need to have BetterHelp be the sponsor on this one.
There you go. Yes, yes, yes. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what kind of drives that. I did a doctorate in leadership, which you mentioned because I'm a doctor, and my final project was writing a book about balance in life, which I think I just trademarked the balanced millionaire. So I'm hoping that kind of becomes the whole jam. But after months of, I have this full book written. I poured my heart and soul into it. My doctoral project was all about it. The people that approved it at Regent University were like, this is amazing. Then I try to like go down a traditional publishing path and I get like rejection after rejection after rejection. No, you don't have 1 million followers. No, it's nothing about the content of the book. It's like, do you have enough followers to sell thousands of copies, right? And so the other day, just like 2 days ago, I secured a book agent, which is like, God coming down and saving us all. It's so hard to do that. And I
That's
immediately like thought of all the negative things about that. Like maybe this isn't for real. Maybe this isn't the best like situation for me. Or like maybe, I just doubted it so much instead of celebrating it. So we
yeah.
all need to just like take a moment to just sit back and be like, that was a big accomplishment. Pat your own back, right? And then like, how can I optimize this the most and go into it with like a really positive attitude versus the other way around, right?
No, I just recorded with Dawn Berlin and we talked about like failures. And I'm like, we always love to focus on our failures. I want to change the word and not call it that anymore. Like,
Yeah,
you need to call it something else, right? But it's so true. Like, we so hyper focus on it. We don't hyper focus on our wins because why we're all like trained to not gloat or be proud of ourselves, but we can
mhm,
totally beat ourselves down with our non-wins. I don't even want to
for
call them
sure.
losses. They're not losses. They're not
Maybe
failures. They're
like
just learning.
hiccups. I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to think of like a term that makes sense for like a learning experience, right? Hiccups, not quite the word, but there's something
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But
I call
yeah,
them flutters. I'm like, it's not a failure. It's a flutter. You figure it out. I kind of
there you
fell
go.
down and I
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
it's not, that's not going to stick, but just some brains. So I think what happens a lot, and you can probably agree with this, is for those of us that are entrepreneurs, we are very type A. We are very control freaks. We worked for somebody, we didn't like the way they did it, so we're like, I could do this better, I'm doing it myself. So when it comes to life after scaling, and a lot of founders that tie their identity to their business, what happens when they suddenly don't have to be in the trenches anymore? Like, that identity's stricken from them, right?
Yeah, I think the best thing that has helped me, I was just having this discussion with my team this morning because you never know when some amazing offer is going to come along, right? And it's like I was thinking through and I'm like, who would I be without my work? I be without my business? And I'd already kind of set myself up to move into the coaching side of things and then starting a new business when I sold my firm. And so I was set up really well to like not necessarily regret it, although I still did because I missed my clients and, all those things. But um, I was having this conversation this morning, like, who am I without these businesses? And how do I make sure that I feel confident and don't have like a personal crisis when I don't have that business that I'm tied to? And for me, it's about, okay, what's next? Like, imagine yourself without that business completely and just put some strategic thought into who do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? And then make sure that you're planning for that. So if you know that you have an exit in the next 5 years, probably, for example, what are you going to do in year one, year two, or year three to work towards who you are after that fact? And I know you probably can't completely prepare because I, you know, can't imagine being, a multi millionaire, so to speak, yet, but it could happen any day. And
Yeah.
so, you never know how you're going to feel. Just,
Hey, on
hope for the
paper,
best and
right?
plan for the
On
worst.
paper.
Do it.
I said on paper.
Yeah,
Everyone's all
exactly.
like, Elon Musk and Bezos have so much money. I'm like, on paper, maybe not in their bank account. I don't think you guys know how net worth works around here, but yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I hope that kind of answered the question, but I definitely, just speak from my heart, the personal experiences I've been through, because, the struggle's real.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But so you've built Tax Plan IQ and it's amazing and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I'm waiting to see it. Like, has it been at scaling or anything like that? Have you had a booth?
Sometimes we'll do booths. Yeah. So we've done a booth at Engage. We'll probably do that again this year. Honestly, the best like return on your investment is online ads. And so we've kind of doubled down on that. We have a great return on that. And then just education webinars. Booths are a
Yeah,
tricky thing and require like your whole mind and body and soul, and it's exhausting. So
it is
we don't
exhausting.
yeah, we don't necessarily lean into that as much as other avenues.
Well, I mean that I love that. I love fintech. Fintech is like a huge passion of mine outside of all these other crazy things, but I love it. Like Anchor, I love that they think outside the box when it comes to conferences and such. And it shows that it works because, and I know I'm off topic, but talking about tax plan IQ and you're here, so it's okay. But it shows that it works because they have a product that's growing and they're not doing the traditional, hey, this is how you build software knowledge in the accounting industry, right? Instead, they're
Right.
like, we're awesome. Come here. Oh, we like you. Now we're going to check out your software. Oh, your software is awesome too. And I know I'm not a CPA, so of course I avoid all things tax at all costs. But I do always pass it along to my CPAs. I'm like, hey guys, you check this out. And they're like, oh yes, we should use or do more strategic advisory and planning. I'm like, yes, you should. My firm is different. It's niche down and it's small and on purpose, right? Like my
For
clients
sure.
are whole other thing. But it is really exciting to see from when I talked to you, I think like 4+ years ago, and I think it was like smaller then, and you were just starting to build it, or it was just getting
Oh,
out
I
there.
just
And
started it. So October 2020 is when I
okay,
jumped into it. So yeah, I mean, 4+ years ago would have still been in year one of that whole thing.
and you bootstrap that, right? Just from the
I
beginning.
did, yeah, completely bootstrapped it. I brought in a CEO last year because I am wanting to plan ahead. And I was like, I don't really want to be the CEO of a software company. I want to do the innovation and do the fun stuff and speak about it, but I don't want to manage this team. And I mean, we have 16 to 18 people now and growing kind of one headcount a month. Um, so yeah, and then we have almost 500 firms, which is really exciting. It was something that was one of my first goals was like, when can I get to 500 firms? I honestly thought it was going to happen a lot faster than it did, but the industry is really behind and keeps getting, you know what, dumped all over them. And so it's, the if I can influence one person to move to tax advisory, it's a win.
Yeah. And I just want to remind everybody that's listening just of the journey, right? So you talked about you were an employee, you were at a CPA firm, they fired you, you started your own firm, had it for 12 years, said, okay, it found probably in your firm thought there's got to be a software that can help me do this better. Or you probably
Yeah.
came up with something and you're like, my way of doing it's really cool. I bet other people will buy it. To
Yeah.
then selling your firm, to starting this software while doing coaching, to now
Mhm.
this software being worth, eight digits. I mean, that is such a amazing journey that is, it sounds unattainable, but it's not, right? And I just want to like point out, and during all this, you got your PhD, you're a
Mhm.
mom of two.
I am.
So I know you should totally be proud of it. I know I'm always the type when people say things about me, I'm like, shut up. But I just want everybody to see that it's not unattainable, that you
No,
can
it's
do
not.
all these, you just put your friggin' mind to it. And you didn't have to have a VC back, like you weren't VC backed. You didn't have to go get around to funding. It was just took a little bit longer, but now you own the company, right? Like it's yours. You don't have the
Yeah.
whole board behind you telling you what to do. So anyhow, I think that's such an amazing journey that I don't want to, I know people know it a little bit, but I don't think they highlight your journey enough, like how amazing it is. So I just really want to emphasize on that if
Thank you. Yeah, it is hard to find. Like, you try to look for role models, especially female role models that have accomplished bigger and better things, and it is hard to find those, especially in the software industry in particular. It's even worse than like the ratios we have in the accounting industry.
our accounting industry is a small slash huge one. It is really kind of odd. I was just talking about that. I'm like, it's such a small bubble, but it's such a huge bubble, right? So get back on track. I'll stop just being excited for your journey. I just hearing it again, like in that, and then like thinking of the timeline is just really cool. So
I really do appreciate that. I do.
well, and honestly, not to upset any men here, but I don't think women get a lot of the credit that we deserve for when we do things. I think it kind of gets, oh, cute, look what they did, cute. And really, I'm like, okay, come on. Like, we did it while, holding the grocery bags. And that sounds really misogynistic, but a lot of times it's true, right? Like, it really is. It
Yeah,
really
yeah.
is. I just
And
feel
I
like there
mean,
should, I
you're
know.
a badass too. I mean, we were just talking the other day about a potential another, client list or firm acquisition for you for someone I know. And you're like, yeah, I'll get an LOI out, no problem, whatever. And it's like, that's badass. Like, I love it. You are such a powerful entrepreneur.
Thank you. Well, when I see people they love their client. So when I see things like, and I know nobody knows what we're talking about, but so Jackie has a knows somebody that potentially wants to let go of their clients because they want to go into just tax strategy, right? But so when I see that, I know people when they have a firm like that and the way you said it, I know that it's an emotional thing. It's not a money
Mm-hmm.
thing. It is an emotional thing of them going, what do I do with my clients? Because I love them, I care about them, I need them to be this language, And the first thing I think is, okay, can we solve for that? Like, I want somebody to feel like if I buy someone's firm or acquire or whatever, I want them to feel like they're coming somewhere safe and that we're going to take
Yeah.
care of them the way they did because I get it. Like I get it. But then there's all those stupid legalities behind it and you gotta keep your T's crossed and your I's dotted, otherwise you end up in a nightmare no matter how nice and the best intentions everyone has, which is kind of puts us back to where we are, right? So let's use an example like that. So you have someone who's they've reached their level of success. I'm done, right? And they're like, okay, I can't even do any more with this. Maybe they're like you or I that get bored. Let's start three more businesses, but they want out of the one they're in, which is how I started with my last or got rid of my last firm. So how do people decide like what's next instead of just coasting? I mean, how do they decide, okay, I'm going to sell my business or I'm going to whatever? How do they decide what to do next?
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head earlier when you mentioned starting with the why and kind of reevaluating. Honestly, me writing my own story down, which was kind of the prologue to my book, which don't worry, I put in it like skip this section if you could care less about my story, right? But for those that do, it was so enlightening for me to write my own story and then reread it back to myself because I realized when I thought I had all these choices in life, I was actually still very limited in my belief system and what I could do. I wanted to be a counselor growing up. And then I met or had a family member that was kind of a cuckoo counselor. And I'm like, nope, not doing that. Had very mentally unstable parent and childhood. And so I thought, well, I better go into business because that's going to be safe. I'll be able to take care of myself. I'm good to go, right? Should I have been an accountant? Probably not. I mean, my undergrad was in finance. I went back and got my master's in accounting. I definitely don't I think when I'm all about the return on investment, that's definitely more of a financial advisor concept, I think, than an accountant. I don't know if I should have ever been an accountant, but it's all come full circle because I started the coaching, right? And now I help other accountants. And our goal every day is to get some kind of testimonial about how we've bettered someone's life because of moving to tax advisory. I personally believe that advisory services solve all the problems that we face in our industry or profession. And so that's why I want to encourage people to do them. And I don't want them to also have to go through the problems that I went through when I hit burnout and chronic fatigue and postpartum and stuff like that too. So I think, long answer short, write down your life history, read it over, and then be like, what did I really want to be as a kid? How can I maybe circle back to that now that I have the freedom to choose?
Yeah.
And your whole purpose, I think, really kind of comes together that way.
That is, you made me like stop and think back. And the first thing I wanted to be when I was a kid was a lawyer. And then it changed. I wanted to be a family psychologist. Now I come back
Wow.
and I'm like all about the rules and how to find them and I want to help you. So I guess it does, that totally makes sense, right? But at the same time, I'm
Yeah.
like, let me help you. But you have to do it anyhow. It's so true if you really think about that. That's smart. It's why you're Dr. Jackie. So, a question like directly for you. So, how has your definition of success evolved now that you've hit so many of your goals?
Oh, so much less about money. Yet I have to say that money is important. Finances is a tool that is just a mandatory thing that we have to have in this world, right? We have to have money to be able to have the freedom to do the things we want to do. So it's something that I talk about actually in my kind of balance formula book. Profit is one of like 10 asset categories. And it's all about that balance, right? And I know everyone said, here's balance, and they're like, that's totally BS, but there's always going to be a balance. We have to balance our books, we have to balance our life, no matter how you want to define it, harmony or whatever. You've got to measure it and you've got to optimize it. And optimizing it doesn't necessarily mean you have $1 trillion, but you definitely want to have a good nest egg there so that you have freedom to optimize other categories, passion, purpose, spirituality stuff. I think that one always goes to the wayside, and it's important, I think, to recognize a higher power and just know that there's more out there than just you, yourself, and you, and things like that. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, it was based on your, so yeah, no, but it totally does. It makes sense. And everybody's going to answer that different, right? And I think when you hit that level of success and you actually take a step back and go, and you allow yourself, I think it's more than anything, allowing yourself to accept the win and to be proud and to go, well, son of a gun, look what I did. Because I think we're just
Yeah.
so embedded to say, I haven't done it. To sit back and go, okay, now what do I want to do? And I think it's an amazing thing when you can go, I actually love what I'm doing. I can do anything I want right now, my whole entire life, anything, right? I've done all the things I want to do. I can do, and I want to keep doing what I'm doing. And in my head, that's the level of success. Like if I had to define it, my level of success
It's
is I am
becoming a
doing
choice.
exactly what I want to do and I love it. It's
That's
not a
great.
have to choice. And I don't, and money, like you said, is everything. But I think if you can be in that place mentally and emotionally, then everything else kind of falls into place. You build your life around the happiness, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's me getting real deep there.
But no, I mean that you have to get deep when we're defining success. I mean, the Western culture definition of just making a shit ton of money is not gonna fly for people at the end of the day. That's the whole purpose of our discussion today. Like you thought you hit that Western culture level of success and you're still feel empty because there's so
Yeah.
much more work that we have to do on the inside of ourselves to like reach that happiness that we want. And so I think internal peace is really like a good definition of success. Like, do you feel at peace with your life? That's like the number one thing I'm striving for all the time. And I fail so badly
Yeah.
at it because of that A
Yeah.
type personality. But hell, I would love to just like sit around and be peaceful.
I get it. I try to keep my A type to really work stuff. And then when I'm off work, I try to be chill, Sharon. Like I don't care whatever you want to do. But I'm
Yeah,
also
it's like the on and off switch, but it's almost like you're different people in a way. And so maybe that's another piece of success is like evening those things out, right? Like to where you don't have to be on or off all the time, to where you can just be you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I always say I'm a Gemini, like I'm the true twins, like I'm right or left, right or left. I'm either crazy on it or I'm like, whatever you want to do. But that's my balance. That's how I can get it all out during this time, and the rest of the time I can be fun time Sharon, and I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. It's definitely a
Yeah.
struggle
No,
for
same here. I'm the same way, but it does make me think like broader picture, like maybe there's a little bit more equilibrium there in our grand scheme of success in life too, you know?
yeah. No, absolutely. I agree with you on that one. Well, if someone is listening today and is just a huge milestone and feels lost, what's the first thing you would advise for them to do? I mean, you kind of already did, but let's just punch it home.
Yeah, well, I would say get a coach or mentor, preferably paid, because you get what you pay for.
Yeah,
Honestly, like free coaching, free mentorship is bad. Like you're never gonna get their ultimate attention. Um, some of my
selling
best,
you.
yeah, some of my best coaches and mentors are also actually men. So, I had a man once tell me, I just posted this on LinkedIn, that he didn't coach or mentor women because of the optics of being alone with them. And I
Oh,
just like wanted to explode because men have had a lot more successes statistically than women have in careers and business in the field. And we need that learning. We need people that have been there and done that to be like, you can do this too. Shatter that glass ceiling because you can. You can literally
Yeah.
do anything you put your mind to these days. It doesn't matter who you are. And that's what's so amazing about our world today.
I do. I agree with you. I do love that. It's not like it was, and technology helps and everything helps. And this, where social media can be such a downside, if you use it correctly, you have a community, you have a support system. You're never alone. I mean, I work remote and I don't leave my house much, but when I can hop onto LinkedIn, I can hop into our WhatsApp group from Advocate, I can hop into all those
Yeah.
things. And you've just got so much support. So it makes it so much easier to not feel alone or to find your people. So,
Mhm.
and I would top off what you're saying to find that community. Find a community. There's so many communities out there of people. Has anybody else done this? Start something, and there's always someone out who's been through what you've been through. And honestly, just like reading stories or talking through it just really helps put everything into perspective, especially when we are type A and so stuck in our own thoughts. To
Yes.
get out and see ourselves from other people or other point of views kind of just takes us back down, I think,
For
in my
sure.
opinion.
No, I completely agree. For sure.
Good. I love that. Well, Jackie, this has been an amazing conversation. Where can people connect from you with you, learn from you, hear more about what you're working on?
Yeah. So, I mean, the Accounting Firm Influencer group on Facebook is a great start. I've really been trying to optimize my LinkedIn presence. I've met the coolest people that I never would have met on LinkedIn over the past few months. So, would love to connect with people there. Or go to jackie.cpa or taxplaniq.com to check out our software if you're interested in advisory.
Yeah, definitely check out her software. Do you have like a trial period or a demo or
Oh,
anything
yeah.
like that?
2 week free trial. No problemo.
And that is for tax planning and strategery, right?
Yeah, strategery. Oh, one of my favorite words. So yeah, I think like something that I need to bust with people's myth systems is that you have to have a ton of tax compliance experience to get into advisory. You really don't anymore. I mean, with what technology can do to automate things for you, I'm doing some test experiments with like just bookkeepers that are moving to tax advisory, and it's going really well. So, yeah, we got to talk about that offline.
I totally want to talk about that. I'm like, actually, because I love strategy. I love just solving problems for people. And that's the one piece where I'm like, I don't know. But now I'm like, here I am thinking, oh, tax plan, I'm not a CPA. And you just told me that I'm wrong for thinking of it
It
like that.
doesn't
So that's
matter.
really
Yeah. Yeah.
anybody that's watching this right now, go check that out because I'm not a CPA, even though I have an accounting firm. And now I think I want to go, I actually do want to go check that out.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
that's Oh. Well, that's going to be a wrap for today's episode of From Stuck to Scaling, the $1 million journey. And a huge thanks to Dr. Jackie Meyer for keeping it real about what comes next after success. And if you want to connect with Jackie, check her out, Jackie Meyer CPA, and listen to the Concierge CPA podcast, or just go check out Tax Plan IQ. Apparently, it's completely worth your money, and she built it from the ground up. You gotta love that. And that is also going to be it for this season. I'll be back soon with more real no BS conversations about scaling strategy, what happens when you stop grinding and start leading. And in the meantime, if you've missed any of the episodes, go back and listen. We've covered everything from hiring and cash flow to systems and mindset. And don't forget, just like every other episode, I've got a killer handout to go with today's discussion. This one is your next chapter game plan, what comes after scaling. And it's really going to help you kind of talk through that and has a little checklist and hopefully get something out on paper. And remember, sometimes you have to scale down to scale up, and success isn't about working harder, it is about working smarter. Thanks for joining me. Figure out how to stop this thing. There we go. Thankfully, I've got